good morning, good morning. How are you guys? Well, whenever you're watching this, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever. On my way to work as usual. I wanted to address this topic because I always get questions about it, so I thought a car chat would be a good way to address it, and that is having a blended family. So we're gonna start from the beginning. I'm gonna try to make this as short and as sweet as possible. I don't know how short and sweet this topic can be because it's definitely been a journey, but I'm gonna try to make this as short and sweet as possible. So as you guys know, I have 3 children. You see me with the 2 girls, the toddlers, and then the boy, okay? 10-year-old boy. And first off, before we get into it, let me address this because I got some comments about this a few weeks ago. I call him the boy and I call them the girls. I don't call him the boy because he's my bonus baby. That's not why I call him the boy. I call him the boy and I call them the girls. We just got too many kids, too many names to remember. I don't got time for that. But if I call them by their names, I call him by his name. But to make it easier, I said the boy and the girls. Okay. Now that's out the way. So I have the 10-year-old boy, 4-year-old girl, 3-year-old girl. The 4 and the 3-year-old girl are my birth children. The 10-year-old boy is my bonus baby, which most of you guys know. So obviously I didn't birth him. That means another woman is involved and in the picture. So my husband and I have been together for almost 10 years now. When I met him, he had a 10-month-old son, which is the boy. So obviously when we got together, now that I look back on it, I mean, I was so young, and now that I look back on it, I'm like, was it a good idea to get involved with a man with a 10-month-old son? Probably not back then. It worked out, but probably not back then. But my husband and I, we got together, and he had this young son. I mean, I saw what a great father he was, so I was kind of a built-in mother as soon as we met. We met in college. I didn't spend too much time with the boy at that stage in our relationship, so it was okay. I mean, I was in college, my husband would come to visit me and to come see me a lot. He was probably up there once or twice a month, and when he was at home, obviously, he was like pretty much a full-time dad. He had his son whole lot, and so that was that. There were really no issues about that or anything. So I graduate college, and now I'm home full-time, so obviously I see the boy more and more because I'm with my husband a lot, so I'm spending more and more time with Amari. I'll call him for these purposes. I spend more and more time with Amari, and I mean, it's cool. We all hang out, everything's cool. Now, with our dynamic, everything is cool, obviously, but of course we have another woman in the picture. So navigating that relationship is an entirely different animal. Now, I have no issues with Amari's mom. I have no issues with her at all. I had no issues with her at all. Never. Her and my husband, they were, I mean, I guess they were getting serious, and then she got pregnant, and then they broke up, tried to make it work. It didn't work, so then they broke up again, and that was for good. And little to my knowledge at that time, that was pretty much right before we got together. That was like right before we met. So obviously with any woman, she has this little baby, and she has this little baby, the guy's moved on to someone else, then obviously you're gonna be a little upset. I totally understand that now. Even though there's nothing you can do about it, I totally understand, you know, why you'd have some type of feelings towards the other woman, but at the same time, hey, I mean, I'm just coming into this situation. I had no idea. A lot of people want to know what our relationship is like, myself and Amari's mom, and we do not have a relationship. Not at all, not even a little bit. I have never even had a conversation with her after 10 years. Never. not on my end. I don't mind sitting down and having a conversation with her, not at all. There's been multiple attempts made for all of us to sit down and have a conversation. That is, I'm totally okay with that. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with her, but she refuses. So that is that. That's the status of the relationship. There is none. It's, in my mind, it's pretty sad because I feel like we could all work together at co-parenting as a unit a lot better than trying to do things in two separate households, two separate ways. And I'm not saying everything's gonna be identical, but at least we can get on the same page about some of the big things. But no, that doesn't happen. She doesn't really communicate that well with my husband. So in order to get the custody that we had now, we had to go to court. We went to court about 2.5 years ago, and now we have him every weekend and also every other weekend and every single Thursday. So he comes over Thursday. My husband goes and picks him up after school on Thursdays. When you guys see those Daddy's Day Off videos, he goes and picks him up after school on Thursdays, and then he spends the night until Friday. My husband takes him to school on Friday morning, and then if it's our weekend, we meet her at the meeting spot in the evening and take him home, and then bring him back on Sunday. And if it's not our weekend, he goes to school on Friday mornings, and we don't see him until the next Thursday, and that will be our weekend. So that's kind of how it goes. And I mean, I know my husband would love to see him more. We used to have him 3 weekends out of the month. We used to have him 3 weekends out of the month. We would keep him for also weeks at a time sometimes before he was in school, but obviously he went to school, so he needs to be at one person's house primarily, so that's fine. But I know we wanted 3 weekends a month, but we ended up getting 2. We used to have him just so much, and now it just doesn't seem like a lot. We do get him every single summer, and then we also rotate holidays, so that's pretty helpful also. I think my big issue is he's getting older, and so it would be nice to all be able to do a birthday party together or something like that. Like, instead of first off spending money on 2 birthday parties when we could all come together and do one really nice one, it makes no sense to me. It just makes absolutely no sense. But my husband doesn't push the issue anymore in order to keep the peace, so we do everything separately, and to me it's just very counterproductive. I don't think it's the healthiest relationship. I definitely think there's ways that the relationship can improve, but I feel like we can only do so much on our side. Like, I'm willing to sit down. I don't have any issues with her whatsoever, and I never have. I've never had an issue with her. I've never had an issue sitting down. I feel like that's the best thing for us. So let me tell you, maybe about 3 years ago, you know, kids, they start to get this little attitude, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm not having it. So we were at the mall. It had to be like 3 years ago because my youngest daughter was a baby. And so we were at the mall with my mom, and it was the girls and the boy and my mom and myself. And he got an attitude for something or another. I can't remember what it was about. I think he wanted to get on the train at the mall or something, and he caught an attitude because I said no. And he like really acted a damn fool at the mall. So I yelled at him, and she didn't like that. And I'm like, one, when he's in my care, he's my child. No one's gonna disrespect me. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he's in my care, that's my son. That's my child. So I'm treating him the same as I'm treating my girls. And that's just that. That's my child. When someone asks me how many kids I have 3 kids. That is my kid. That's 1. 2, I'm like, okay, you don't like how I handled the situation. I feel like at that time he was getting to that stage, and still somewhat at that stage, where he understands that his parents don't have the greatest relationship. He understands the animosity towards me, and so he uses that to his advantage. And so he went home and told his mom that I yelled at him and she didn't like the way I handled that. And she, you know, obviously gave my husband an earful, and I'm like, well, you know what? If she doesn't like the way I handle that, we can all sit down, and I would love to hear from her how she would like me to handle a situation like that. I would love to hear from her how she, you know, that's fine with me. I have no problem with that. If you don't like the way something is going, I'm fine with you sitting down and talking to me. But she never wanted to sit down. She never wanted to talk. So we never had that conversation. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to handle things the way I see fit to handle things. When he's in my care, he's my child, and I'm going to handle things the way I think they need to be handled. And if you don't want to sit down and talk to me and give me some pointers and tell me how you would think, how you would like me to handle that, then I'm sorry. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to do anything differently. I'm not putting him in harm's way. I love him the way I love my own kids. He was my kid before I had my own kids. That was my only kid for a long time. So I don't know, that part gets very, very frustrating, extremely frustrating when it comes to like actually raising him and discipline and having to worry about another person. Because I mean, it sucks that we have no type of communication, no type of relationship, and we can't even have a decent conversation. I mean, there was a time where she didn't even want me coming to pick him up. Like, if my husband couldn't make it, she didn't even want me coming to pick him up. And it just didn't make sense. That was part of the reason we went to court, because the shit didn't make sense. My husband was at work, he couldn't make it. He'd have to call his mom to go across town to get him. And it's like, that makes no sense when I was already over there because I was at work or something. So we do have those issues and those frustrations, but I mean, as far as him, you know, being in our home and being a part of our family, that is our family. Like, I don't see it as, I guess I should say, it's not as if, you know, I had these kids in this established family already, and then I met my husband and he had this kid, and then we just kind of blended them together. That's not what happened. We've been together since I mean, Amari can't remember us not being together, you know what I mean? So we've been together that long, so he is the family. That's our family. There is no how does he blend with our family. He is our family, and his situation is just a little unique. He has 2 moms, and if she finds someone else, then he'll have 2 dads, and that'll be that. And hopefully he'll get double the love. But that's just yeah, that's our story. So that's our story. I know I get asked about that quite often, but so I just wanted to address it in one of these car chat videos. Let me know how you guys like these car chat videos. Give it a thumbs up. Also, let me know if you're dealing with a similar situation, or if you also have a blended family. How do you guys deal with that? Honestly, I'm at the point in life where I have no beef with anybody. Like, I just won't associate myself with you. I don't care about, I don't have any beef with anyone. Like, for what? I have too much going on. Like, this is crazy to just hold on to beef, and that's kind of where I am in life. So I don't know. This situation does sometimes frustrate me, but I just try not to let it get to me. It's literally been like this for 10 years. So to put any more crazy energy into it just doesn't make sense. It's been this ridiculous for the last decade at this point. But that's really all I had to say, you guys. Thank you so much for watching these videos. If you like these car chats, give me a thumbs up and leave me some topics down below, and I can address another one. But yeah, that's our whole relationship. That's everything. If you guys are going through something similar, or you have a blended family, let me know down below how you guys address that, because sometimes it's just crazy. Thanks for watching, and I